Forgiving What You Can't Forget. Discover how to move on, make peace with painful memories, and create a life that's beautiful again. Book by Lysa TerKeurst. Introduction. Welcome to an exploration of healing, forgiveness, and the resilience of the human spirit. In Forgiving What You Can't Forget by Lysa TerKeurst, we embark on a journey through the intricate corridors of pain, forgiveness, and the pursuit of a life that's beautiful again. Join me as we delve into the profound wisdom and transformative insights that lie within the pages of this remarkable book. Chapter 1. The Double-Edged Sword of Forgiveness. In a world where forgiveness often feels like a double-edged sword, Lysa TerKeurst begins by acknowledging the resistance that often accompanies it. The soldiers of unforgiveness, cynicism, bitterness, resentment, delay, and trust issues, stand guard, working against us rather than the ones who've hurt us. As we navigate through these emotional battlegrounds, TerKeurst challenges us to disarm these soldiers, to understand that forgiveness is not a concession of defeat, but a pathway to liberation. Chapter 2. Navigating the Landscape of Hurt. When forgiveness is mentioned in the aftermath of hurt, it often resonates with guardedness, defeat, anger, and fear. We build walls, creating alternate realities to escape the pain. Yet, true healing only begins when we acknowledge our hurt and bravely traverse the path of forgiveness. Through poignant anecdotes and relatable stories, TerKeurst encourages us to confront our coping mechanisms, to unravel the layers of our emotions, and to discover the transformative power of vulnerability. Chapter 3. The Unsurvivable Darkness. There are moments when the darkness seems unsurvivable, making forgiveness appear elusive. TerKeurst guides us through the realization that withholding forgiveness transfers our pain to those innocent of our suffering. To emerge from this darkness, we must reclaim the power to control our hurt, even when those who inflicted it are far from our reach. Owning our pain becomes the key to moving forward, allowing us to navigate a path towards healing and redemption. Chapter 4. Excuses and the Power of Choice. Excuses often surround forgiveness as we convince ourselves that it requires an acknowledgement or apology from the offender. TerKeurst dismantles these myths, emphasizing that forgiveness is a personal choice that doesn't hinge on the actions of others. Deciding to forgive is a moment. The process of forgiveness is a journey. Forgiving What You Can't Forget invites us to untangle the threads of forgiveness from the choices of those who've wronged us, granting us the freedom to heal on our terms. Chapter 5. Collecting the Dots of Our Past. Our past stories, like scattered dots, shape our beliefs about ourselves, others, and the divine. TerKeurst urges us to revisit our past, recognizing that the stories we tell ourselves impact our ability to forgive. The dots, when connected, reveal patterns that guide our journey towards self-discovery and redemption. As we collect these dots, we're invited to confront the narratives that have held us captive and learn to rewrite the stories that define our existence. Chapter 6. Connecting the Dots of Vulnerability. To connect the dots, we must embrace vulnerability, a process likened to shedding the shame of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. TerKeurst encourages us to examine the areas, people, and moments we avoid, unraveling the reasons behind our avoidance. This chapter reminds us that vulnerability is the bridge between our past and our potential for healing. Chapter 7. Correcting the Dots. Once the dots are connected, it's time to correct them. TerKeurst emphasizes the importance of coming to terms with our past, rewriting the narratives that have held us captive. Correcting the dots means changing our perspective, seeing people and events for what they truly are. By embracing this correction, we gain the power to redefine our story and release the grip of the past. Chapter 8. The unforgettable feels unchangeable. In the face of unforgettable pain, we often imagine alternate lives untouched by the hurt. TerKeurst encourages us to acknowledge the power of forgiveness, swapping anger for compassion. By recognizing the humanity of those who've wronged us, we pave the way for peace and inner transformation. This chapter reminds us that forgiveness is the ultimate key to unlocking the shackles of resentment. Chapter 9. Setting boundaries to dance with dysfunction. When confronted with situations beyond our control, the instinct to rescue our loved ones may be overpowering. TerKeurst introduces the concept of setting boundaries, not as a means of shutting people out, but as a shield to protect our sanity and prevent enabling. Setting boundaries becomes an act of self-preservation, allowing us to maintain our emotional and spiritual well-being. Chapter 10. The mind in the midst of hurt. When hurt consumes us, we often turn to prayer, seeking divine intervention. But what happens when the expected intervention doesn't materialize? TerKeurst guides us through the process of forgiving God, acknowledging that His timing and ways are beyond our understanding. This chapter invites us to trust in a higher plan, even when the answers we seek remain elusive. Chapter 11. Forgiving God. After the storm of anger and disappointment with God, a realization dawns that God, in His wisdom, has never offended us. TerKeurst illuminates the path to healing, reminding us that divine timing surpasses our impatience. Forgiving God becomes a crucial step in our journey towards wholeness. Chapter 12. Loss and bitterness. Loss, a universal experience, plays a pivotal role in our lives. TerKeurst reveals that sitting in loss and grief can be a potent antidote to bitterness. Through the profound insights of this chapter, we discover that bitterness often finds its roots in unprocessed emotion. Acknowledging loss becomes a stepping stone to vulnerability, allowing us to process emotions and embark on a journey of self-discovery. Chapter 13. Functions of bitterness. Bitterness, like a relentless force, distorts our perspectives and steals away our peace. TerKeurst explores the multifaceted functions of bitterness, emphasizing that embracing humility becomes the antidote. In humility, we find the key to unlocking the prison doors built by bitterness. This chapter becomes a guide to freeing ourselves from the chains of bitterness. Chapter 14. Living forgiveness daily. As we approach the final chapter, TerKeurst shares the practical wisdom of living forgiveness daily. The emphasis is not on perfection but progress. Every step towards forgiveness, no matter how small, contributes to the creation of a life that's beautiful again. Forgiving what you can't forget teaches us that the journey of forgiveness is not a one-time event but a daily practice, a commitment to progress and the pursuit of a life filled with grace and beauty. Key lessons from the book. Let's recap the key lessons from Forgiving What You Can't Forget. Lesson 1. Taking power from the past. When hurt lingers, resist the urge for revenge. Instead, hold on to the sweet memories that existed before the pain. Remind yourself that those who hurt you do not have the power to dictate your present or future. Take back the power to determine which memories define you and how you choose to move forward. Lesson 2. Setting boundaries for self-preservation. In the face of dysfunction, setting boundaries is an act of self-preservation. It's not about shutting people out but shielding yourself from the consequences of their actions. Remember, you can't save others by working harder than they do. protect your sanity and spiritual capacity by establishing boundaries that prevent enabling and maintain your well-being. Lesson 3. Trusting God's timing. When prayers seem unanswered, trust that God responds at the right time with the necessary answer, not necessarily the one we want. Understand that God's timing is guided by infinite trust in the divine plan, and you'll find peace even when the answers you seek remain elusive. Conclusion. As we conclude this transformative journey through forgiving what you can't forget, let these lessons resonate within your heart. Forgiveness is not just an act, it's a continuous process, a daily commitment to progress, healing, and the creation of a life that's truly beautiful again. May the wisdom found in these pages accompany you on your own journey of forgiveness and self-discovery. Thank you for joining us on this captivating exploration.